The Shape of DPS graphs show us not just how much damage gets done, but when it gets done. This lets us know which DPS unit is most appropriate for any given situation. If you're fighting an enemy with very low health, you want to look for a shape that peaks early, and so on. We're just looking at the prime DPS of single operatives here. We're not getting into the weeds because I'd be here all day and you'd leave as soon as you saw the runtime. We'll also be assuming prime DPS cases. For example, Yao Winter Solstice is graphed assuming she gets her ultimate in 3 shots, since that is possible with Tess, but we're only factoring in the utility support, not the damage. We do this because utility support can significantly change the shape of DPS, but damage usually just amplifies what already exists. Winter Solstice starts off with relatively low DPS that becomes very high when she ults. After expending her reload charges, she then shoots normally and uses her standard skill when it cools down. Shooting normally in her ult is actually higher DPS than reloading with her standard skill, but only for the 5 shots it takes to end her ult. There are ways to manipulate this shape, such as dodge canceling the end lag of her ult shots for peak DPS, but the basic shape remains the same. Constant DPS that jumps to a higher level during her ult and falls once her ult ends. Blue Bolt deals high damage from the start until she runs out of S energy for her standard skill. Her damage tanks while she refills, then picks up again. There isn't really anything you can do to influence the shape too much. She just has 2 DPS levels that she swaps between. The Ethereal Cloud is shown here fighting a boss with 5 parts. The number of parts doesn't change the shape of her DPS, just the height, so it will look the same with smaller peaks against bosses with no extra parts. She deals very high damage for 3 seconds, then reloads for 1.5 seconds, and repeats. Coronade deals relatively low damage until she empties her clip, then even less damage when she has to reload before each shot. Her attack speed is rendered useless after the 7th shot as she is limited by reload times. If she chooses to reload in larger chunks, she can instead be a bursty DPS. Her DPS shape is actually very flexible. It just doesn't get any higher than when she's unloading her whole clip at once. Hush deals the lowest DPS for the first 3 seconds, but increases at a constant rate until she runs out of U energy. At about 7 seconds, she reaches the top of the average DPS chart. At 12 seconds, she tops the peak DPS chart as well. Real quick, here's how Hush's shape compares to other top DPS operatives. Keep in mind that boss fights at high investment tend to end around the 10-second mark for now. Remember, these shapes are not the only information you want to look at to choose who to build. There's a lot of nuance missing from these graphs. The best use for this information is predicting how an operative will perform under certain conditions and how they might benefit from different kinds of support. For example, if we get a support that allows for infinite ammo for a period, we can see that Ethereal Cloud and Coronade will both benefit because their shapes are largely determined by having to reload.